Hello everyone, welcome back to Eastwick Cottage Garden. It is a glorious day today. It's sunny, it's not too hot, it's not humid, and there is a lovely breeze. Actually, there is a big breeze. I had the umbrella up here and started filming, and all of a sudden I heard a crack and a big gust of wind had come, so I decided to put the umbrella down to be safe because it's a 10 by 10 foot umbrella and pretty much is a wind sail when it's super breezy. So Riley and I are out here today. It is Labor Day. I hope that all of you in the US and Canada, if you celebrated Labor Day, are having a wonderful day and had a great weekend and got to spend time with friends and family and possibly get in your garden spaces as well. So it is the unofficial end to summer, but we still have about 3 more weeks of official summer. So we're going to enjoy that as we can, and also enjoy the cooler temperatures and all the options that the late summer, early fall garden have to offer. Today I have a long list of things to get accomplished. I don't know how much I'll get done, but I will be ticking items off as we go along so that we can have a sense of accomplishment. So I'm just going to set the camera up and moving it around the garden, and we will see what we can get done today. Okay, so just one thing I just want to say, if you see me limping, it's because my knee is hurting me and I might be limping a little bit. It's okay though, I'm all right. The other thing I wanted to say, let's start out here. So I think part of the crack that I heard was probably one of our tomato plants falling over in the wind gust. So we're gonna clean this up. Oh, we got some tomato casualties. Some fell off. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. So we had a bunch that fell off here, but they will ripen up and we'll be able to enjoy them. Actually, some of these are already pretty good. This is the white tomato, the white cherry tomato. Delicious. That was yummy. So I'm going to put these aside so we can bring them in the house. Brought out a little bowl to do a little harvesting. Okay, so this is what we harvested today. Most of them came from the casualty, but we got a few of the red tomatoes as well. So I'm going to put this aside, then we're going to move on to doing some tidying up. This will be the last time that I deadhead this area, because what I want is for the seed heads to remain, so that the newer seed heads to remain, so that the birds have something to eat over the winter. I'm also not going to deadhead all the way. Some of the newer blooms I will leave so that they can winter over as well. And when you deadhead, you always want to go back to something. A lot of times you can see where a new flower is about to come up, but if you can't see that, you just want to take it back to a leaf joint. Took a bunch off. I think we're going to leave more for the birds. But I did cut back some to where I see some new blooms happening. I'm going to travel around this way. So Saturday, I trimmed back some of this tomato so it could have some more air, and also so that I trimmed off the tops so they could feed more energy into the fruit development. As you can see, this thing is laden with tomatoes. So we're going to see how many we can get before the fall season comes in. So we're going to move back here and try to get some deadheading done in this area. I know that we've had some praying mantis activity back here, so I'm going to see what I can get done. So I also want to talk about this rose bush that we talked about in the last video. I have been torn about this and did some more research into what could possibly be the issue with this bush. And everything that I've been seeing so far, the one thing that was bothering me regarding this potentially having rose rosette disease is that there are no thorns. And I know this bush does have some thorns because I got stuck when I was pruning last year. However, there are no thorny outcrops on this. So the other thing that can cause this to do this, one, I think maybe I shocked it by cutting it back so far last year, potentially, and also weed killer Roundup, which I don't use. But if it gets to the roses, it can cause this same issue. And the difference between this and the rose rosette disease is that there's no thorns. So I have no thorns. And the stems are not red. So, and staying red. And the leaves are actually, they look peaky coming out. I know that there's some, there's some powdery mildew on this. But when they're coming out, they do come out, as you can see, they are coming out as true rose leaves, although they don't look the best. They are not the wild red ones that you see with rose rosette disease. So what I'm going to do is trim back all of the crazy looking stuff and see what happens next year. Well, they suggest that it could take up to 3 years if it is the Roundup issue. I think it's glyphosate is the chemical, and or glyphosate, something like that. I'll put the name up. But I'm thinking it's more that than rose rosette disease, because there's no thorns, the foliage is turning green, the stems are green, and so we're just going to go with that. But I just wanted to give you guys a follow-up on what's going on with the rose bush, in case you see it in the background and we're thinking, well, why is it still here? It's still here because I'm still thinking about it. So, and then with the Roundup issue, it is not contagious, so it wouldn't affect any of the other roses, so they should be safe. But anyway, that's the update on the rose bush. We shall see what happens. We're going to come around here and work on this, the garlic chives here. So I'm going to cut these back, and then part of the task this week is going to be to cut back all of these. And then part of the task this week is going to be harvesting some for drying. But these flower stalks, although they are very pretty, don't be sucked in by the beauty of them. They will give you 1.5 million extra plants that are very hard to get rid of, and the seeds stay in the ground for a while. So even though the first year it might not look like you have a big outcrop of them, they're there. But the plant itself, I know I talked about it earlier, seemed to be, earlier in the season, seemed to be suffering a bit. But it has rallied back. And it's doing well. So that is the lion's share of that. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do in this immersive garden space for today is to cut back this lavender. And you could do it with shears, which would be fine to do. I am choosing to do it with secateurs because I would like to bring these in, these dried lavender bunches, bring them in the house and use them for flower arrangements. So that's why I'm putting them in a separate bucket down here so that we can have these for the rest of the season into winter. And this is something you could give away to friends, and it will last them all through the winter and bring a touch of spring into their houses. And what you don't use, you can just always put on the compost bin. Or you could take these dried flower buds off. You can make sachets with them. Not sure if you can make tea with the dried ones. I have to look that up. And it's okay if when you're cutting, you cut some of the new growth here. That's fine. Like I said before, you kind of want to trim it back a bit so that it can put on even more growth during the warmer months here, and then be fortified to make it through the winter without frost damage. Also, working in this area, there aren't any mosquitoes because mosquitoes hate lavender. I'm splitting this video into two pieces because it is very long. Here is the end of part one. So we're going to start over in the immersive bed area. And one thing I did want to show you, that Jeff was here this week, and so I want to show you down here, zoom in a little bit. So he started laying out the new flower bed. So we put some cardboard down and we put some mulch on it. We need obviously a lot more mulch, but he had to go, so he put some mulch down just to keep the cardboard from blowing away. And hopefully he can get back here sometime this week and we can do some more of that. I'm clearly going to need way more mulch, and and perhaps some compost to get this flower bed up and running. But I wanted to at least get the back of the flower bed started to kind of tamp out the weeds that are growing in between the existing plants. Some of these plants are going to need to move to make room for some other things that I have ideas for, but we will get to that later on. But on the front here of the immersive garden bed, my mother, lovely mother, bought me a sign for the garden, and I was so excited to be able to hang it up. We finally got a chance to do it, and this is what it is. The garden is my happy place, and it most definitely is. And it is leading you into the garden gate, which is, I think, is very appropriate. So I went ahead in here. We trimmed back most of the spent flower stalks for the lavender, and as you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, that there are some new stalks coming up. So we'll let them bloom, and they can feed what remaining pollinators we have, and then the new growth can continue to come in and be hardened off to prepare for the winter. And along that line, we also took off the flower stalks of the garlic chives, and I will be coming in this week to do some harvesting and then some drying of them. So coming back through here, so back in here, we lifted up this tomato plant that fell over in the gust of wind, and we did a little bit of deadheading on the rudbeckia and also on the heliopsis, or fall sunflower, and we're leaving some of the seed heads on so that the birds can have some food over the winter. I also did, over in this area, some deadheading of this balloon flower. We had a lot of spent blooms on there, so I took them off. We also did a little bit of cleaning up of the daylilies. There's still some dry leaves in there, but that's okay. They'll get cleaned up probably in January or late fall, early winter. We'll do the cleanup of that. And like I said before, I did this off camera. We thinned out the leaves of the tomato. You can see there's a bunch of tomatoes ripening, so kind of just help speed up the process of them ripening, the ones that are on here now, to keep them ripening with the remaining sunlight that we have. So this is what we did in this area. Okay, everybody, we're done for the day. We've been out here for a while. We got some stuff done, which I'm happy about that. I hope that you guys had a safe and wonderful holiday weekend if you are in the US and Canada. And I hope you guys had a great weekend anywhere, wherever you are in the world. So I hope it was safe. I hope your family is safe. I hope to see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.